The homeless population in Arkansas numbers 2,500, according to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. There's no doubt you've seen them on the streets. Maybe you've given them money or even food.
It's common, especially in central Arkansas, to see panhandlers on street corners. But who are they? Are we really helping by giving them a few bucks? How can we correct this problem? Channel 7's Alyson, Courtney, and photojournalist McDonald spent 6 months working on a story to help answer some of these questions.
That's right. Tonight we begin with the first of a special two-part story that started out with the intention of being about panhandling, but turned into so much more once we hit the streets.
I'm with Channel 7 and we're doing a story on homelessness.
It's a lot harder than people think when they judge, when they see us out here doing what we do, trying to survive.
So this is the life you choose at this point.
This is all I got right here.
That's everything you
It's
want.
everything I own right here.
Like now I have 8 felonies and I've been to the penitentiary 4 times.
You may avoid them. You may reach out to help them. But few people really stop to get to know the homeless in our community.
My hopes and my dreams for my kids is to never follow in my footsteps and never be homeless and do the things that I did.
31-year-old Travis Newby grew up in a broken home, quit school in the 9th grade, and was in and out of jail in Chicago before coming to Arkansas. He told us his wife is pregnant with twins and they work the streets together.
Some people shouldn't be afraid of me because who am I? I'm just another person like anybody else that walk around here, an innocent bystander.
Do you get though why some people might be?
Because I can be aggressive sometimes, and I do have a bad temper. I do like to curse people out, especially people that like to stare at me, because I did just kind of almost curse y'all out, but I had to turn around. But, you know, like I said, when I look at reality, God will bless me, and I just got to keep my head up and just keep on going.
Travis says he's held several jobs, but gets fired because of that bad temper. And his wife was let go from her last job because she had trouble finding a ride to work.
You know, I try to fix my life. It's hard.
31-year-old Brittany Miguez, a single mom who told us she was pregnant and had a young son staying with a friend, is also a high school dropout and says she's tried to get help and a job, but cannot get hired.
I mean, I always say, you know, if people would come out here for one day, just one day, and walk in my shoes or anyone else that's in this situation and experience the struggle with trying to figure out how you're going to eat or how you're going to take a shower or where you're going to lay down at night without somebody trying to steal your stuff or mess with you.
So what do you think made you want to do this?
This man, who did not want to reveal his identity, has been homeless for 6 years and was the only person who said he preferred life on the streets.
Yep.
It's still freedom. Freedom to do what you want to do.
We spent the longest amount of time with 50-year-old Willie Washington.
It's hard out here. It's not easy.
We found him at MacArthur Park, charging his phone and thinking about the family he no longer has contact with.
I had a car, nice house, I had a job, you know what I'm saying? I was doing good. You know, now I ain't doing so good. It's hard to face your kids, the people you love.
Willie says he's never gone hungry on the streets thanks to plenty of feeding programs, but told us there are not enough shelters.
It's hard to hold a job when you can't leave that job and you know, go take care of your hygienes and, you know, relax and you know, to prepare for another day.
Willie also admitted he too has a criminal record.
I think it's hard in prison than it is out here because...
So you don't want to go, I mean, you don't want to go back to prison?
No, most definitely don't want to go back to prison.
If we don't build a support system for them, they're always going to be out there.
Jeffrey Williams, general manager at a popular restaurant on Main Street, regularly hires people like Willie.
That's what we try to provide here, is a hand up for some of these people that want to get back on their feet.
Jeffrey's a good guy. He's always, you know, trying to help, and that's motivating.
Just a few months ago, 35-year-old Reginald Kantz was homeless with no money. Thanks to Williams and a nonprofit called Jericho Way, he got a job and an apartment.
He works 40 hours a week here. You know, he's back, getting his life back together, and is doing so well with himself.
Do you ever see yourself ending up back on the streets again?
Nah, that's something I'm not trying to do again.
Reginald seemed happy and a true success story. We met another former homeless man living at our house and raising his infant son as a single dad. We'll share his story tomorrow on Daybreak. But what is the success rate when it comes to getting out of homelessness? Can any of the people we met get and or maintain a job and stability? 6 months later, an update for you that none of us expected.
They said they investigating the homicide. I said, now, come on now. Why would I kill the man? You know what I'm saying?
That's tomorrow morning on Daybreak. Chris, Beth, back to you.
All right, Alyson, looking forward to that story. There are ways to help the homeless. We've put links to nonprofits and shelters on our website. Just go to KATV.com. Well, last night at 10, we introduced you to a few people who are part of Central Arkansas's homeless community.
This is a story that we worked on for more than 6 months. And tonight, Alyson Courtney is in studio with the update. Alyson.
Chris and Beth, we met the men and women featured in our story walking around downtown Little Rock. All but one of them told photojournalist Marcus McDonald and me that they wanted jobs, stability, and a place of their own. We did find 2 men who had managed to escape the streets, but that was 6 months ago. How often does that kind of success happen, and can it last? Here's part 2 of our special report, Homeless in Arkansas.
As a single dad, the best part of Nicholas Gay's day is picking up his son Chance from daycare.
Bye, Chance.
But this daycare is located at Our House Shelter, and just a few months before we met Nicholas, he and Chance were living on the streets.
From keeping them wrapped up and making sure he's warm and just worried about him all the time.
At times, Nicholas admits he was ready to give up.
I was like, oh, I can't do this, so I called my mother, and she said, you can do it. You got it now, you got to do it.
And he did. After reaching out to Our House, not only did they help Nicholas get housing at the shelter, but he also got a stable manufacturing job.
And I'm grateful for this job because now I got an opportunity to save and put up some money so we can really get ahead and get on our feet and we can go farther in life.
Since our interview, Nicholas has gotten a new job at a place where he can live and work and spend more time with his son.
And I said, Chance, it's going to be all right. Baby, it's going to be all right.
Nicholas tells us he's promised himself he won't end up on the streets again.
Times get rough for everybody, but that doesn't mean give up.
It's also what 35-year-old Reginald Kantz told us 6 months ago after he, too, got help from DePaul, USA's Jericho Way, got a job at Soulfish Cafe, and an apartment.
Do you ever see yourself ending up back on the streets again?
Nah, that's something I'm not trying to do again.
But only a few weeks after our interview, Jeffrey Williams, the restaurant's general manager, told us Reginald got angry one day and simply walked out.
Every story's different. I've learned in working with the homeless for about 10 years now that you can't save everybody.
Williams hasn't seen Reginald since, and neither has Mandy Davis, who runs the resource center that helped him.
Folks are exiting homelessness in Little Rock. They are. Unfortunately, oftentimes what makes the news are the not so good stories.
And the next part of our story needs a reminder that we just randomly walked up to homeless people in our community.
How are you?
We did not know them or anything about them.
I've been out here like a year and a half.
We introduced you to Willie in part 1 of our story. He was honest about being a felon and admitted it's easy to get in trouble when you're homeless, recounting an incident just the day before.
I went to sleep beside the man, woke up. The next day I come around, they say the man died. They said they investigating the homicide. I said, now, come on now. Why would I kill the man? You know what I'm saying?
Willie went on to tell me going back to prison was the last thing he wanted, and getting his life together was now a priority. Just a few days later, we found out unexpectedly that Willie was off the streets.
A suspect wanted for a North Little Rock murder earlier this month is now in custody. 50-year-old Willie Earl Washington turned himself into police on Friday. He is wanted for second-degree murder in the death of 60-year-old Ronald Campbell.
The video from our interview with Willie was subpoenaed by prosecutors, and Willie is scheduled to go to trial on November 16th. Police tell us there is a problem with crime amongst the homeless. That's why Jericho Way and Our House and other nonprofits are working so hard to get these men and women help and hope quickly.
Otherwise, the longer they're out, the more likely they are to be arrested. That's just kind of reality.
Several of the people we interviewed 6 months ago, we were unable to locate. Our hope is that's because they found a way out. Even if they have, the reality is there are hundreds more there still today.
There are ways to help make a difference in the lives of the homeless, and resources for them. We have linked those on our website at KATV.com. Chris and Beth, back to you.
Okay, Alyson, thanks so much. A really powerful story that they tell. Alyson and our photojournalist Marcus McDonald joined with Ben Goodwin from Our House Shelter and Jeffrey Williams from Soulfish Cafe for a live streaming discussion about this story.
You can watch that by going to the KATV Facebook page.